Welcome back to another episode of Health is Wealth. And thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. And as always, I am beyond grateful and thankful from the bottom of my heart for each and every one of you who's tuning in to today's episode and tuning in to the podcast. And I truly hope it brings you value as week to week I am just sharing thoughts and things that are going through my head on my own journey in life, things that I am learning for the first time, others that I'm just seeing at a different point of view, in hopes that it helps inspire and motivate you. And if anything, just get a chance to know me a little bit more and understand the journey that I am on in life. And what I wanted to talk to you about in this week's episode is how I really believe that it is so important for us to have goals in life. And it is essential for us to survive and thrive, right? Because having goals is what gives us life. I am truly convinced that we have the dead living among us, in life. And what they kind of look like are people who navigate life. And although they look like they're living and they're here and they're breathing, they've got flesh and all that, you probably can recognize the people that I am talking about. And sometimes it's just people who look like they have the life sucked out of them, the soul sucked out of them. They tend to walk around with this doom and gloom face. They almost look like zombies walking among us, right? Because there's no excitement in their life. It's almost like the fire died in their eyes, in their hearts. And again, almost lifeless like, And I think a lot of what causes some of that is, I don't believe we all started that way, because I think everybody can go back to the earliest of ages before we started having rules and guidelines and limits and restrictions and doubts and all these emotions and everything else that comes with life as we grow older put on us and placed on us. Well, we remember what it was like to dream and have these goals of what we wanted to be when we grew up and all of that, and how excited we were as kids to tell people we wanted to be rock stars and astronauts and firefighters and policemen and doctors and all of that. And somehow along life, as we've gotten older, it's almost like that fire just started to, to dim out and, become extinguished, as society and the world puts all these, limitations on us. And so again, some of these people they look like, those who just finally gave up, maybe finally gave in, just became complacent, gave up hope, and, again, it looks like they're just walking with no actual, excitement or happiness in their world. And again, I think what causes that is we stop having goals. We stop dreaming. We stop working towards things. We stop having hope that there's bigger and better and more in our lives, which again is why I believe it is so important for us to always be setting the goals. Because I believe when we stop setting goals, when we stop working towards bigger things in this world in life and stop dreaming, that's pretty much when we stop living altogether. Because what are we working towards? If we don't have goals, which are things that we desire to achieve in whatever it is in life, in whatever area, then what are you doing else with your life than just feeling like you're walking around like a zombie, doing the same thing every day, every moment, every living breath that we have? So again, this is why it is so important for us to, set goals in our life, because it gives us something exciting to work towards. It gives us hope that the future is going to be better, that we have goals that we can acquire and achieve and work towards and aim high for and have and all of that, because it's exciting to work towards and then achieve the goal. You see what I mean? So that's why it's so important to always be setting the goals, because it always gives you something to have joy in your life to work towards. And it's that having that purpose, having a meaning, having, something that keeps you in motion, working towards something. That's the very thing that keeps you alive. It keeps you motivated. It keeps you excited and keeps you thriving and surviving. Because the moment we lose setting goals and having things to work for, then we have to look at what is the point if we are not doing that? And I think along the way, somehow some people, unfortunately, as sad as it is to see, because you just see it, so often, and sometimes in people who start to get older, as they stop dreaming, they stop setting goals, they just get caught in this day-to-day trap of the routine of the job that they don't like and the life that they don't like. And it's almost like they forget how to set goals, like they forgot how to dream, like they forgot they once wanted to become astronauts or doctors or lawyers or rock stars or whatever the goal is in life. And pretty much to stop there, just kind of accepted a defeat in life, and I get it. It's like life can be draining. Life can be taxing. Sometimes the longer in life you go without achieving things that you want, setting goals that you haven't achieved, maybe lost a dream along the way, you can feel frustrated. You can feel defeated. You can feel like, what is the reason? What is hope? Why should I even try anymore? Nothing seems to be worth it. But nonetheless, it should never be a reason for anyone to ever give up hope, to ever stop working towards stuff. Because when you stop working towards anything in life, you truly stop living, because that is the purpose of life, is it not? To have things, to achieve things, to become a better version of ourselves, to see what's possible in this world, to see what all we could be with the God-given talents that we've got, and so much more. That's why it is always important for us to set goals. I don't think there's a limit of goals that we should be setting. I don't think there's a size of goals that we should be setting. Set goals as big as you can dream or not dream. Things that are realistic or unrealistic, right? And there, most importantly, isn't an age limit for that. Sometimes I think along the way we think that, we're too old to be dreaming and having goals and doing big things with our lives. And I'm here to debunk that, and that is an absolute no. We are going to bust that myth right there, because there are too many examples in this world of people who've gotten older, who've done some extraordinary things, have gotten some late starters in life, and have done absolute amazing things with them. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Go look up, type it in your Google. People who got a late start in life and still did amazing things. Tell me how many people you see pop up when you search that up. So have goals. They are very essential to us having hope, to us working towards something, to us, most important, thriving and surviving, because without them, we have no purpose. Without them, we might as well just be walking zombies, because if we don't have goals that we are setting that make us feel like we've got meaning to be here, like there's a reason for our existence, then absolutely you're going to feel like a zombie, because you're going to feel like you have no purpose. You're going to feel like you have no meaning, and you're just going to feel like, what's the point and why are we even here? So, if you don't want to be like a zombie, like the many that we see amongst us here, set more goals. Don't let the doubts or the fears or people or, that this inner voice in your head try to talk you out of it, make you think that you're not worthy enough, you can't do it, whatever it may be. There is nothing stopping you but yourself at the end of the day, each and every day. And if you really truly want to feel fulfilled in life and feel like you've got purpose and meaning, and never lose that flame and never lose that spark, always be setting goals. And that's why I think it is so important for us to have them. It's because they make us feel alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another week's episode, and we will see you on the next one.